Yeah, chapter 6, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This chapter is called Imagination, the Workshop of the Mind. Now, that's basically letting you know that this is where all the work takes place of, creativity, imagination, so on and so forth. Now, according to him, he says there is two types of imagination. You got synthetic and then you got creative. Whereas synthetic is just basically old shit that you just build upon, old experiences, old concepts. Whereas creative imagination is hunches, um, intuition more so, what the ideas brand new. It's basically brand new ideas and concepts, right? But he says that more than likely you'll use the synthetic form of imagination to basically get money, so to speak, right? Um, he gave an example with this guy, right? So the guy was a preacher and he had an idea. The idea was he wanted people to be able to get educated, but um, by doing practical things, basically by being hands-on, right? But the thing was, he needed $1 million to be the head of this institution that he had an idea about. So he sat around over a span of 2 years thinking about it. But when he made a decision, when he was certain, like, I gotta get this money. You know what I'm saying? I need this million. Um, he wrote out a sermon. He gave the sermon. Now, in between him writing it and preaching it, um, he was speaking it. Like, hey, I need this money, and so it was giving him assurance, right? Because he was putting it out there. Then he gave the sermon. How about once he get finished with the sermon, dude walks up from the crowd, like the third row, out of nowhere and says, like, I believe you. You know what I'm saying? And to show you how much I believe you, you come to my office tomorrow and I'm gonna give you $1 million, right? So the next day, he did that, and the rest is history. But the key is 36 hours, bro, after he came up with that decision, and he came with the action. It happened just like that. But see, before he was just thinking and thinking and thinking, and most people, that's what they do. We all been victims of that. You think a good game. You got a good imagination in terms of ideas, but you have to transform those ideas into reality. And the way he did that was through action. Even though that may seem impractical, but you have to walk in the path of men that have done those types of things, because everything in this book, he was giving practical advice. This wasn't like made up stories. These are actual people like Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison. All these are real people. You can Google these people. And then he even gave this example that was before this one, and it was called the Enchanted Kettle. Now, the Enchanted Kettle was this doctor. He presented this clerk with it was a kettle, and he gave him a paddle. The clerk was like, he was gonna buy it, so he took his life savings, $500, and bought it. Right? He added to it what Napoleon Hill refers to as his imagination, right? But then years later, this became known as Coca-Cola, But it all started with a kettle and a paddle and a secret formula, because the guy wrote it down, the formula to, I guess, unlock its powers or whatever. So he was giving practical examples, you know. But it is what it is.